Good morning. Today is the 22nd of October 2024 and I'm going to go through my trading plan for today. Before we start, let's just see if there's any news that could move the market. Let's get economic. We're on Tuesday the 22nd. So no morning news. We've got Fed speaking at 10. And that's pretty much about it today. I don't think there's much news this week until the end of the week. So just keep an eye on 10 AM today for any potential market movement. So on my screen we are looking at the S&P 500 E-mini futures and we're looking at the 1 hour time frame. I prefer taking my levels off the 1 hour time frame purely because it gives me the best overall view of the market. And I've had a bit of a tidy up on my screen as well. You can see my levels are a bit tidied up now. You don't need to worry about the ones down here, just worry about the ones we're close to. Something of interest, we were watching this trend line yesterday and you can see we broke the trend line in yesterday's trading, came back and we retested it and we broke and retested that trend line. So we talked about this play, a potential head and shoulders, or we talked about it being a ascending triangle or wedge pattern, and it played out exactly as we anticipated. If it's a neck and shoulders, this would be the neckline, and we broke the neckline, came back and retested it. Or if it's ascending wedge, we were pre-extended with reduced volume, and I said there might be a case for it to break down, but we were watching for one or two directions, either a breakout, a strong market, but yes, there was a weak market, came back, retested that trend line and rejected down. So it's always worth keeping an eye on these because these are plays which we can play, and you know these patterns seem to generally work out. It was after market anyway, so I wouldn't have played that. Even though I'm around from about 2 AM Eastern time here in the UK, that's about 8 AM, I normally don't look at the market until about midday my time, which is about 7 AM New York time. So that was yesterday's play and prediction we talked about, and it did exactly as we anticipated. I said to watch for the break and retest, and that's exactly what happened. Hopefully somebody got that. As of now we are below the 50 moving average, and we're also closing below on the hourly below the 200 moving average, which is this purple line. So we've got to have a slight bias towards the bear side today, but you know how many times we've been biased on the bear side and then watch it just come back up to there. So you know, still play the chart and the patterns. So I'm going to go into my levels right now. So the main area I'm watching for a bounce is this area here. I do quite like 58, 55, 58, 56 area for a bounce. I like it purely because we've got area confluence here. We came back and retested it, and we tested it twice and we've yet to come back to retest it. Also note that we have a little bit of volume coming in over on that side as well. There's no other volume. This is all-time highs up here, so this is the only volume we've got to go by for this area. And we can see the higher volume up here as well, the big volume plateau, big volume shelf there, and that gets me to my next level. I'm also watching this area here for a potential rejection, and I'm also watching this area as well, which is a pre-market high. I've got two levels I'm watching. A pre-market high, that's 58.87, 58.88, looking for a rejection into this area of confluence. We've got bottom pivots, tops of pivots, tops, bottoms, bit of confluence there, or a bit of consolidation. So if we can come back up into this region, I'll be looking for a rejection back down based on the fact that we've got a little bit of volume coming in there, so potential orders could still be sitting there waiting to trigger if they haven't already. If we poke through and come back, I'll be looking for a break and retest of pre-market high, which is one of my strategies anyway. And then if we get into this 59.13 area, 59.13, 59.10, 59.08, this region here, I'll be looking for firstly a rejection, but if we poke through, I'll be looking for a break and retest along. All-time high is that point, so keep an eye on that. I don't like shorting all-time highs. I've tried and it's been difficult. So I'm just going to want to go with the flow, basically, go with the trend. And we're putting in a series of higher highs. I know this one here, we're just going sideways. So we have to break this trend line and come back and retest it before we can say that we're in a hourly downtrend. Let's move over to the daily. And let's just see, let's get rid of that trend line. We don't need that now because we've broken that. So daily, you know, we talked about this yesterday, it's been below average, decline in volume, and while the price is rising, showing a little bit of tiredness. The red candles, last red candle was higher than the green candle, so it was a bigger candle, I guess. And we had a bottom tail candle as well, which showed that there was signs of weakness, because if it wasn't weakness, we wouldn't have come back down that far, and it's come all the way back up again. And then, yes, and today we've just given it up again, so we're right back at the bottom of that bottom tail candle where we saw signs of weakness. And there's a topping tail candle as well, which usually identifies a end of a trend. But one thing missing is the extra high volume, which we've not got. So I don't know whether we're at the end of a trend yet, we're declining. What I'm looking for is a big volume candle like that, and a big day to show that we've had a battle between the buyers and sellers. So I'm looking for a big volume, big bar like that, big topping tail to show weakness, and I want to see it take out a lot of this consolidation as well. So I want to see it close below this area consolidation. So back to the consolidation. Until we can get below this area or above this area, it's going to be quite tricky. It's been really choppy the last few days, just going sideways. And right now it's another inside day, so we do need to break down below just to get out of this range, or break out above to get out of that range as well. So back to the 1 hour time frame. So just to recap the levels, we'll have a quick look at order flow, which doesn't look too bad at the moment. We can watch for this big head and shoulders pattern, and we could use this as the neckline as well. You know, we could say that's a little head and shoulders pattern here as well, the one we were looking at earlier. So I'm looking for a break and retest of 58.55. I'm also looking for a bounce off that level as well. I'm considering 58.86, 58.90 for a rejection or a break and retest long. Let's clean that. And I'm watching this 59.10 to 59.13 area for firstly a rejection, or if we can break through that. I don't want to take it, I want to see a break and retest long, and I don't want to see, it's got to break out, unlike this candle here, and then close above this region so we can see it come back, put in a candle, and then come back down. You can see here we made a new all-time high, come back down, went sideways and lost it. Same here, we made a new all-time high, so a lot of people are getting in there thinking this is it. People are probably buying in, so we've got probably a lot of people up here waiting for the market to come back up into that region to sell their position to get out of break even. So we may see a bit of a sell come down, but you can see we poked through it, came back down, and then retested and never came back. And so people holding the bag up here are probably waiting for that area to get back out again. So that's why I quite like watching this region for a rejection, because you know, if you're left holding the bag up here and you saw that, and you missed that, and you missed this area, are you going to miss it a third time? Probably not. Right, moving on to the order flow. So we've got order flow. Let's have a look, see if there's anything unusual. We've got prices in a downward trend, cumulative deltas in a downward trend. We've got a lot of negative cumulative deltas, even on this green bar as well, showing a bit of weakness. You can see we've not had, even though we had a green bar, we didn't even have any green deltas at all. Maximum delta was -1, minimum delta was -343. Same with these, so that looks still pretty weak. We haven't got many. We've got many orders here, 16, so it shows there's a lack of interest. coming back up in that direction. Only 13 up there, bit of unfinished business. You may see it come back up, tag this area, this is a bit unfinished. And as for areas of, now what I'm looking for, these yellow dots or these yellow bars, this is a 30-minute filter, and that shows me where all the high or big orders have been previously. And so what I'm looking for is areas where we've got yellow, yellow, yellow in a line, so I know that level has been honoured several times. That's what I'm looking for. There's nothing really there. These red lines, you'll see them on all my charts. That indicates limit orders, only large limit orders, and that information is also in these boxes here. So you've got that one is that box, that section up there, and that's this section here. And what we're looking at is on the ask, I'm looking for big orders, probably bigger than these. We've got 230, 300, 284 orders up here, and then on the bid we've got 200, 318, 329, 215, and way down below at 5180 you've got 500. And ignore that, that's way away. That's probably an old order, has been sitting there. I think I see that every day. And so that's kind of what I'm watching for. And the thicker the line, the bigger the order. So I know they're not very thick, these lines, so they're quite small, large orders, if that makes sense. What I'm looking for is any orders over 500 or over 400, they're large orders, and they'll have a thick red line. Nothing at the moment. It looks like it's going to be quite quiet. Normally you get a lot more orders than that. Okay, so I'm going to quickly have a look at SPY and SPX, then I'm not sure if there's any benefit going through the others. If you want me to go through NQ, QQQ, oil, gold, Russell 2000 and YM, I forgot what it's called now, the Dow Jones, that's it, then let me know in the comments and I can go through them. So SPY, similar levels to ES. I quite like this area here for rejection, 584.75, 585 area, and if we can push through that area, a break and retest long into new all-time highs. We've got to watch this area as well. What I like the most is a big volume shelf there. We consolidated for a bit and then broke through, so it was the ceiling, now it's become the floor. So I do quite like that area for a bounce, 579, 579.13. And we've got the 200 moving average coming up into that area as well. So that could act as another confirmation. And then pre-market high and low, we can watch for the break and retest of pre-market high. And I do quite like I think I prefer the break and retest of pre-market low today. Interesting now, these levels I've had in place for a few days based on areas of confluence, and you can see in the pre-market we came down, came back up, retest this level, back down again. Yeah, so pretty much the same as ES. Let's have a look at SPX. Levels are the same. So we've got 58.72, that area, all-time highs. We can watch this area for rejections. If we push through and hold it, we've got to hold it, not like this candle where we pushed through and rejected. Again, there's probably people up here holding the bag at that level, waiting for it to come back up to get out of their positions. You know, if they didn't get out of it there or there, then again, the third time, are they going to wait for it to go into all-time high, or are they just going to lose it there before it comes back down? So we may see a bit of a push down at that area, 58.70. I quite like the bounces down here as well, 58.24. My favourite area is this area here, a big area of confluence, and we're coming into volume as well. And then we've got this bounce area, so these are areas to watch for. Not today, I don't think. There's 5700 psychological number, 5800 another psychological area, which is why I got it marked up. And so that's the area to watch for today for a bounce. And if we lose 58.24, we can watch for a break and retest long. We're going to be opening up based on the pre-market movement, probably around this area, 58.20 area, 58.24. And have we taken out yesterday's low? Yeah, just about. So we might be opening out just below here. So if we're looking to go short on ES or SPY, I won't be going short unless we are below that pivot, because we don't want to be going short, break and retest of the 58.55 level in ES we're watching if SPX is coming into an area of support. Okay, NQ, I've got a comment, expecting new lows on SPX. Yeah, I agree with that as well. I think we may see new lows today. We're probably going to be opening up around this 58.24 region, and I do quite like a break and retest, but only if ES is also around those areas and breaking out below those areas as well. Okay, so we've got about 12 minutes before the market opens. Quickly at NQ, I'll do these two. So we've got this trend line forming here. We've got this trend line forming here. There's approximate areas, and we're right contained within that. So this is quite interesting. So yesterday confirmed this trend line's holding, and we've got the lows of yesterday also confirmed this trend line's holding as well, and we're trying to break through. So I do quite like the break and retest of pre-market low, only because we'll be breaking that trend and back down. So I do quite like that one, so we can watch that for a short. If we continue to play up, I do still quite like this 2500 area for the rejection, and that goes with this trend line as well. And as we start tightening up, we're going to see a position, we're going to see some movement either up or we're going to break down. So I like that. So let's just draw that in. So we've got a copy of that. Let's just do the most recent pivots. There. Okay, so keep an eye on that one, and we'll come back and review this tomorrow. Let's have a quick zoom out. We've got another trend line here as well. So this is a bigger trend line where we've got a potential bounce area if we do lose this smaller trend line. QQQ, I won't draw the trend line on that. It'll probably be similar. Same as NQ. If we can break this trend line there, we can watch for a break and retest short, and that's pre-market low, and happens to be yesterday's low as well, so that's a good area for a break and retest short. So that would be pre-market low, yesterday's low, trend line break as well, and also the 200 moving average, this purple line. So I do quite like QQQ, break and retest short. Was there much detail on NQ? Yeah, we've already broken the 200. Yeah, so let's keep an eye on that one. I'll quickly go through oil. So it was looking pretty weak at one point. It broke down, sideways, broken it, retested that level, come back up. Now it's breaking out above that area. So we can watch for a break and retest of pre-market high long into these levels. We've got already the tops of pivots and bottoms of pivots, or we can watch for a breakdown of pre-market low. There's nothing else, you know, I wouldn't even bother playing the range now because we've broken out of that range. Gold, nice little dip by there into a double top all-time highs. Question is, we've got big volume coming in as well on that big candle. This candle here, we were overbought yesterday by quite. We've been overbought for a few days, coming back up into that overbought area again. Now we're not quite there yet. The only plays break and retest pre-market high and follow the trend, or if we lose pre-market low, we can watch for a break and retest short. But we will need to get below just be careful of the 50 moving average on the hourly. So on the lower time frame it will be a bit different, and we use that as a target. RTY. This area of confluence, so we can watch for rejection at 22.55. So we've got it kind of hiccuped a little bit yesterday there. Pivot low, pivot high, lots of tops of pivots over here as well, and bottoms pivots. So a big area, and we got the not the point of control, but a point of, or a high volume node. This node here, right in where we are now. So we can watch for potential rejection on yesterday's high, pre-market high. If we push through it, we can watch for a break and retest long, and then obviously watch for pre-market low for a break and retest short. So something like that. YM. Let's go back to RTY one more time. Yeah, I like this area as well for a bounce where the point of control is. Big area of confluence. We've got the point of control just below as well. So this area here, let's just draw it in. I like this area for a bounce. Big area of confluence. Point of controls in that area as well. So if we get that down to 22.21 to 22.10, I quite like the bounce in that area. And then YM coming into our first, it's hit our first bounce point area. I don't know, I didn't mark that one up. Let's mark it up, save. So it's not exact, it's just looking at tops of pivots, bottoms of pivots, bottoms of these pivots, and you can see we bounced from that area. So 2 levels on pre-market low, a bounce which we've already had, we may miss it unless it puts in a double bottom, or a break and retest short. I do quite like the breakdown of this area. Let's just go back in. We've got this area here, we've got the volume shelf as well, so we can watch that area. So this should be a good area for a breakdown and retest short. It's also a good area to watch for a bounce as well because of that volume. And I think that's it really for YM. Yeah, we're right in this bounce point now. Previous all-time high, and then we break through it. Hiccup, you know, we test it a few times and then we bounce from it. So we quite like that area. If we lose that area, we can watch for a bounce down in the area suggested at 42,500. And then finally Bitcoin. Let's just see this on the daily. It's coming back into a bounce area. It's an area we talked about yesterday. So it's an area of confluence as well. Tops of candles, bottoms. Just a rough area there, tops of this area. I like to have more bias on the more recent pivot, and we're coming in for the bounce at 67. Are we going to hit 70? That's our target, 70. I quite like the break and retest over 70, and especially over this, and to make new all-time highs. But it's looking pretty bullish right now. Volume is about average, so there's nothing really to look at really other than just wait for the next dip down, add some more, and when you push it up, take some out. And that's it. ES, we've gone through the levels a couple of times, we looked at the order flow. So that's it. Have a nice day trading, and I will be back tomorrow live. Don't forget, I've got the order flows. Live as well. So I've just realised I've left it on. My apologies. So I've just gone through all these different levels, and I just realised I left the order flow on, but I won't go through it again. A bit annoying, but anyway, that's fine. I know my levels. I'll just quickly scan through them. If you're still watching, you can take a screenshot. Let's go down to the hourly. So all my levels are on screen now. SPX levels on screen now. So I like the break and retest of this level on SPX 58.29. NQ levels are now on screen. Basically in this range, we're watching this trend line. We've looking for the break and retest of this area basically. QQQ same trend line coming up, break and retest. QQ is better because not only are we breaking pre-market low, not only are we breaking yesterday's low, we're also going to be breaking down below the 200 moving average as well. So I like a break and retest at yesterday's low. Crude oil. So I talked about watching for these levels. Break and retest, which we look like we're doing right now over this area long. And if we lose it, we can watch for the bounce down here again. Gold, which is looking really bullish again. Nice dip by here. If we're going to break out, then I like the break and retest of pre-market high, yesterday's high. And if we are putting in a double top, notice additional volume coming in, then I like the idea of the break and retest below pre-market low. So it wants to come down, come back up, retest, and come back down. RTY. I like the rejection here at 22.55, and then the bounce we get back down to these levels, and then YM. I'm really waiting for the break and retest of pre-market low where we are right now, and we've got this void below, so we've got nothing below, no volume. You can look to the left as well. The volume profile is almost non-existent as well in this area. So I do like the bounce at 42.800, but I also quite like the break and retest of pre-market low into this void. Let's just put an alert in as well, so I'll keep an eye on that one. And then Bitcoin, we're waiting for some pullbacks basically. If it pulls back to the trend line or to the 63, then I'll be looking for ads. If it breaks over 70, I'll be looking to take profit. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have my proper screen on as well. Okay, thank you.